Hey everybody, this is Perch, and for those who are saying, look, where are all the X books? Like, what's going on? Your prayers have been answered because today we have the series announcement of Way of X. That's Way of X. It's a brand new team book. It's being billed as a smart, psychedelic tale about faith, science, culture, love, and law, and Nightcrawler. So this is a new team book led by Nightcrawler. And it basically is featuring a team of mutants, including Dr. Nemesis, Pixie, Blink. There's a couple other characters that kind of show up from either the new, the New Mutants run, where it was truly New Mutants, or the Jason Aaron or even Grant Morrison run, where they introduced a lot of new characters to the school. Probably more in that Jason Aaron run of when Wolverine was the headmaster of the school. We're seeing a lot of those characters kind of in the background. So this is being written by Si Spurrier, who's returning. He did X-Men Legacy back in the day and X-Force. He's known for doing more, I don't know the best way to put it, more kind of cerebral comics, a little bit more offbeat comics, kind of different, a different approach. So he is joined by Bob Quinn, covers by Giuseppe Camuncoli, but Bob Quinn doing the interior work. And really, what this is intending to do is dive more into the mythology of this new Krakoa and the lifestyle. There's suddenly a bunch of mutants all living on one island, and what is the faith of this? Si Spurrier says that there's a new mutant religion that's coming up, and it's in this book, and kind of how does that impact things? Of course, how is it going to test Nightcrawler's faith and what he believes, but also some of the darkness. What happens when a bunch of mutants all live together in utopia? How does that work? And how do we, what's wrong with the hearts and minds where mutants who had been previously fighting for their lives on the street, in trouble, maybe hunted and feared by a world that hates them, that now suddenly they're on an island where they can have anything they want. They have no fear of death. Part of the elevator pitch of House of X, Powers of 10, and kind of what Hickman has done in general is to really turn the X-Men franchise on its ear around. Let's lean into this idea that nobody ever really stays dead. Let's take all those stakes away, and then what is left at the other end? What's the psychological impact on the mutants? How do they interact? Now the villains and the heroes are kind of living together, and there are no villains and heroes. We've subverted those expectations. Where do we sit? This book really looks to explore that. And it's been hinted about for quite some time that something like this was coming. I think several people had folded this pitch in with X Corp, and maybe this is X Corp. It's just now rebranded Way of X, but this seems a lot more on the mythology, on the, like I said, the religion, the psychological impact. In many ways, X Factor was billed as a book that was really going to examine the consequences of death and resurrection, and how that was going to be felt with Krakoa. This looks to be touching on some of the same ground, but in different ways. So definitely a heavy kind of religious bent, but and there will be some random kind of mutant hating people who are going to show up with guns, undoubtedly. So the pitch that we have is that mutantkind has built a new Eden, but there are serpents in the garden. Some mutants struggle to fit in, other mutants turn to violence and death, and the children whisper of the Patchwork Man, singing in their hearts. Only one mutant senses the looming shadows, snared by questions of death, law, and love. Only Nightcrawler can fight for the soul of Krakoa. Only he and the curious crew he assembles, including Dr. Nemesis, Pixie, and Blink, can help mutants defeat their inner darkness and find a new way to live. This is Way of X. So this is being billed as an ongoing new series. It's not. It's going to tie in, I think, kind of in not tie in, but it's going to run in parallel to the storyline that's going to be going on within the Reign of X books around the election for the X-Men team, because we're getting an election. So why not? And it is, it's very much it's branching out with this world. So basically, I think at this point, all kidding aside, you're either on board with kind of all these titles and you're loving the whole pitch and you just want more and more and more. And if that's you, then this is probably good news for you. It's going to continue to explore this new status quo of Krakoa and everything else. If you're feeling some exhaustion of this series, I think even though it's funny because Marvel has long said, look, you don't have to buy all these books. But then they did the Ten of Swords, and it was kind of like, hey, they all have chapter numbers on here, so maybe you do kind of have to buy all these books. And it's kind of publishers. And by the way, I've heard this from editors and writers and creators and many people. They have to say in public, you don't have to buy all these books. You buy just the ones you want. But what they want you to do is buy all the books. I mean, make no mistake about it. They're not just producing all these things thinking, hey, this will get 20% of our audience. They're hoping and expecting, and that's why they do crossovers, and that's why they put this stuff in place. So, but we've got enough X books at this point that, even the most diehard fan has to be looking at this going, can I spend $60 a month on X-Men books? I don't, I can't do that. It's going to start where people are going to have to start picking and choosing, and we'll see where all this is going. Si Spurrier had a pretty interesting run. I think I generally enjoyed what he did. It was always a little different. It was simultaneously a more kind of trippy mental take and also gritty take at the same time. He brings some interesting things to the table. There's no reason to think that Spurrier will be doing this title differently than he's done in the past. It's going to be kind of high concept and a lot of dissection of kind of psychology. He's excited. He says he's incredibly excited that Marvel gave him the opportunity to launch a new X-Men series. This is from Bob Quinn, who says that Nightcrawler is his favorite X-Men. He's the artist. Along with the recent developments in the X-Men universe, gives me the opportunity to explore pretty wild concepts and ideas, bringing to life a dream come true. Si is a great storyteller, and his story gives X-Men fans something they've never seen before. Spurrier himself is saying, who do these characters have to become? Do they become preachers, cops, executioners, or something entirely new? It's a smart, psychedelic tale about faith, science, culture, love, and law, and vamping. So, okay. This book is, we don't have an exact date other than April. So we're kind of sneaking up on some solicitations that's probably going to come in about a week to a week and a half from both DC and Marvel. And so this is one of those books that relaunches. If you're doing betting on the side, I guess you can say which book is going to get into the market first, this one or Children of the Atom. Who knows? But all of this kind of emerges into what's going on with the X-Men and what we can predict for the year. Obviously, we're going to get a campaign in the book of X-Men with people, I guess, mutants are going to be making their case to why they should be part of the X-Men team, and then people go vote on it. It is good. Nobody is tired of political campaigns, so that's great that we're getting that. And then that's going to kind of be summed up or come with the Hellfire Gala, which will be where the announcements, at least as far as we know, and what I think is being told, that's where the announcement is going to be named of who's going to be on the new X-Men team. And then maybe we'll get a new title again after that. I mean, maybe this is when Uncanny X-Men is coming back as a book, and we just keep going. We do have X-Corp in the wings, unless, as I said, this Way of X is actually that book. I don't know. I don't think so, but who knows? And then we have a Moira title out there somewhere that's supposed to come along at some point. So, I think all things considered, we have an X-Men event, and we have some crossovers, and we have a consistent storyline, and we have signs of more books. And it's reasonable to assume that by the end of the year, we're going to have 20 ongoing X-Men books a month. I think it's not outside. It's not crazy talk. Just if you're looking at the trajectory of books being put together, that seems to be where it's all going. Although it's worth noting that the shipping schedule of these books has started to get pretty wonky, where you can't count on all these books coming out in any given month. So who knows actually how many titles we're going to have. All I know is the omnibuses are going to bankrupt people when they start finally coming out with all this stuff. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Way of X, a team book with Nightcrawler and some of those other characters. Si Spurrier returning to X-Men. Are you excited? Are you not excited? What do you think? Let me know. Like and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Send me an email. Who wants another X book? I'm telling you, that Emma Frost dinner party book that I pitched a few weeks ago, you got to get to that. Thanks for listening.